Christmas Eve, 1938. Madge Arwell comes to the aid of an injured spaceman angel, the 11th Doctor, who promises to repay her kindness. All she has to do is make a wish. 3 years later, Madge escapes war-torn London with her two children for a dilapidated house in Dorset. Crippled with grief at the news her husband has been lost over the English Channel, she wishes to give her children the best Christmas ever. The Orwells are greeted by the Doctor, who acts as their madcap caretaker. However, a mysterious Christmas gift from him leads them into a wintry, magical world. Madge must learn how to be braver than she ever thought possible, and that wishes can come true. Welcome, friends and companions. How are you today? This is Enigmatic Joker on the Dutch Doctor Who channel. Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and especially on this channel, a special place for Doctor Who, the best sci-fi series ever. This name has multiple names, unlimited names. Usually it's called Random Entertainment Channel, but most of the time it's called Doctor Who Channel. You can choose whatever random name you want. That is called Random Entertainment Channel. Random because would broadcast on non-fixed times, actually on many different times. That's also the case with Doctor Who Universe. It's not non-linear. Sometimes it's cycling in a cycle. Sometimes it's straight. Sometimes it's another way. And sometimes it's parallel. Sometimes another universe. Whatever. It is expanded, expanded, expanded. So yeah, you have to subscribe to this channel for to know what time the broadcast is actually. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Doctor Who, the Doctor. It's mysterious. It's enigmatic. That's why I'm called enigmatic. Um, yeah, random also because we will have no guests or different guests. It depends who wants to join me in the live stream panel. If you that is that you can contact me. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube, and we'll look what is possible. You can actually put a comment in one of my videos of this channel to contact me, and you can contact me via the Discord server, Random Entertainment Channel, tag Doctor Who, and you'll find me very quick because I bumped the server regularly. You can contact me via that server, and you can send me a message. And also, so you are invited for my channel for the live stream and panels, but you can also invite me for your channel or for your live stream and panel. Feel free to invite me. I want to contribute to your channel. I want to make friends and I want to network. So you can contact me. So, summary, you are invited for my channel. Feel free to invite me for your channel. Yeah? Right. So, today we have an 11th Doctor story called Doctor the Widow and the Wardrobe. Yes. Some general info about this story. So, The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe was the 2011 Christmas special of Doctor Who. It was the show's 7th Christmas special since its revival and the 2nd Christmas special starring Matt Smith as the Doctor, the 11th Doctor. As with A Christmas Carol the previous year, this story also took its name from popular literature, specifically The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It marked a relapse for the Doctor, who renounced his choice to travel alone and was reunited with Amy Pond and Rory Williams, ending a 2-year absence in their personal timelines. So, that's some general info and background info. We will now dive into the plots. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this Christmas story yet, I highly recommend you to watch and or listen to this story before you further listen to this all. So it gave you some time and then we'll start. Perfect. Let's go. A spaceship approaches Earth in 1938 and it prepares its weapons to destroy the planet. Instead, it begins to blow up itself, thanks to the doctor who is now running for his life to escape the ship. Seeing off the part of the ship that is exploding, the doctor finds the section he's in has fallen apart. The vacuum of space is pulling him out. Seeing a spacesuit nearby, he tries reaching for it, but it falls out. Using his respiratory bypass system, the doctor lets go of the ship and falls after the suit, barely missing getting caught in the explosion. Grabbing hold of the suit, he struggles to put it on as he enters the Earth's atmosphere. In England, Midge Arrow is riding her bike home when something falls from the sky into a nearby field. She finds a spacesuit inside a crater as a groan comes from it. Madge opens the visor to find the wearer has the helmet on backwards. She informs him of this when he believes he's gone blind. Explaining he got dressed in a hurry, the doctor asks Madge to help him find the police box. Madge returns home to retrieve the keys to her neighbor's car, informing her children to tell their dad she's helping a spaceman angel find a police box. When her husband asks where she is going, their son Cyril simply says, out. Her story is obvious, ridiculous. After a bumpy drive due to her lack of driving acumen, Madge finds a police box. She helps the doctor out of the car as he bumps into a street lamp. She wonders why he hasn't taken off his suit. He explains it's an impact suit, which is healing him from the fall. The doctor tells Madge that he will repay her kindness. All she has to do is make a wish. Entering the police box, the doctor asks if they can try again. It's not the TARDIS. Oh, 3 years later, in the Second World War, Match's husband, Reg, is flying his plane blind, looking for a guide to navigate his way. Seeing none, he looks at the picture of Match and apologizes. Match receives a telegram informing her that Reg was lost at sea. She does not tell her children, Cyril and Lily, what happened, as she wants to keep them happy at Christmas. Because of the bombing, they are to leave for their Uncle Digby Orwell's country estate and spend Christmas there. As her children break a wishbone, Madge makes a silent wish for help. They arrive at Digby's estate, where the doctor greets them. He introduces himself as a caretaker. He shows them around the estate, explaining he repaired several boring rooms. They have been upgraded with delightful gizmos. He shows the children their room, which has everything a child could want for their hobbies, at the cost of their beds. They'll have to sleep in hammocks now. Edge tells the doctor to stop and sends the children out of the room. She tells him that their father is dead, but then wonders at herself why she keeps shouting at them. The doctor explains that it's because she knows that they will be very sad when she tells them the bad news. Their happiness until then is upsetting her. The reasons to let them be happy now is because they are going to be very sad later. Before anything more can be said, they are interrupted by cries of delight from Cyril and Lily. They go to a room where the doctor has set up an elaborate tree with a large blue gift box. Madge is shocked by the many toys the doctor has put in the room. She turns to find him leaving once. The children wonder who left them a gift. That night, Cyril decides to open the doctor's present before Christmas. He finds it contains a portal to another world, one covered in snow. A tree sprouts what seems to be ornaments. He grabs one, sees a face on it, and drops it to run back. Something hatches from the ornament and walks off. Back in the house, Lily is worried about Cyril. She notices lights from the attic. She finds the doctor working on the electrics with the TARDIS next to him. He lies that the TARDIS is his wardrobe, painted to look like a police box. The doctor wonders if Cyril is still in bed once he observes a beeping light he is holding. To prove the doctor that Cyril is in bed, Lily takes him to see but Vince the doctor was right. Cyril is not, is not there. Impressed with Cyril's cleverness, the doctor decides to look for him. They head for the sitting room with a tree and find Cyril re-entering the portal. The doctor enters and pulls Lily after him, explaining that it's a portal to another planet. They have arrived a few minutes after Cyril because of the nature of the portal. Doc explains his gift was supposed to be a supervised trip to one of the safest planets he knows, which also has a beautiful natural Christmas trees. Meanwhile, Cyril has traced footprints left by the creature which earlier hatched from the bubble. They lead to a tower-like structure. Back in the house, Madge feels uneasy and looks around for the others, only to find them gone. She finds the portal and enters the forest herself. She encounters three harvest rangers who hold her at gunpoint. They explain that the forest is private property and she's in danger because of the acid rain coming to melt as the trees down into fuel. They do a scan of her, finding that she's not from their era, and the portal leads to the future. Madge begins crying from the stress and shock of what's happening. Deciding Madge will trust them if they are unarmed, the three put away their weapons, asking if they can interrogate her now. Madge then turns the tables on them by pointing a gun at them, telling them she's from the time of the Second World War. Cyril has entered the structure and made his way to the top. Inside are wooden statues of a king and a queen. When Cyril sits on the throne in top of the tower, the wooden queen comes to life and puts a crown on him. At the same time, the doctor and Lily arrive and ascends the stairs. The wooden king comes to life and follows them up. Finding Cyril, the doctor then questions the queen and king. They are trying to evacuate forest life force before the Adrozani trees are melted. They lured Cyril to them, but he is too weak to carry their life force of the planet. To the doctor's chagrin, he is also too weak. Lily is strong, but too young. Madge is taken to the Harvest Ranger's vehicle, where she has all but the female member of the trio tied up to get some answers. Marge trusts her more than the men. The female ranger says they can scan for her children and set up an audio feed to receive any voices within the area. However, as soon as this is set up, a warning about the acid rain sounds and the rangers are teleported away. Madge hears several of the feet, saying he will wait at the tower until she comes, as she always comes. Worried for the child's life, the doctor tries explaining to Cyril that the portal they used to get to this planet will close soon, and they have to leave right away if they have a chance of avoiding the acid rain. However, the child is adamant, and the rain begins. The tower won't hold up for long. Then they notice the ground shaking. Outside the ranger's vehicle, a giant robot is being piloted poorly towards the tower. The doctor recognizes the driving style. Match! She tells the doctor he is fired as caretaker before crashing the robot next to the tower. The doctor rushes her inside, where the wooden queen and king decide she's both strong and old enough. The doctor realizes they are saying that all life comes from the mothership and thus are insisting on a female host. The forest life force enters match as the room separates from the tower and launches itself into the time vortex. On the queen's instruction to think of her destination, the doctor tells her to think of all the memories and emotions of her home until it hurts. Implying Madge begins thinking of her husband and how he followed her around all the time until she promised to marry him. She then sees a display of her husband's plane lost at sea. Not wanting to see her husband crash, Madge asks the queen and king not to show her that. Lily and Cyril realize she's been keeping a secret from them. In a flash of light, Everyone is transported to Digby's lawn. The doctor explains that the tree's life force, Wooden Queen and Wooden King, have left and are now out in space. Matt tries hugging her children, but they ask what she meant about their father dying. The doctor excuses himself. When he steps outside, he rushes back to tell Mudge to come out. Somehow, Greg has landed right behind them. The doctor explains that her love led him into the flame vortex, and he used the light from the escape pod as a guide to follow. Greg wonders what happened until he is told it's Christmas. He puts aside thought to enjoy the holiday with his family. Oh, yay. Later, Madge enters the attic as the doctor prepares to leave. Seeing the TARDIS, she realizes the caretaker was a spaceman she helped years earlier. She asks him to stay and enjoy Christmas, but he tells her he cannot. Madge thinks he has loved ones of his own, but the doctor says that they think he died. Madge orders the doctor to go see them. They shouldn't think he's dead at Christmas. As he enters the TARDIS, the doctor tells Madge that if she ever needs his help again, she should make another wish. Greg enters as the TARDIS dematerializes. Madge explains the doctor has returned to the time vortex, which she thinks is a lovely place. In the 21st century, the doctor arrives at Amy and Rory's house. Amy answers the door with a water gun, thinking it is Christmas carolers again. He greets her awkwardly, wondering how long it has been since they last met. Amy tells him that it's been 2 years and spritz the doctor with water as payback for yet another long wait. She says River told them the truth, that he didn't really die. They each then assert that they will not hug first. After the hug, Amy invites the doctor in, calling Rory to see who's at the door. Rory tries pretending to be surprised, but Amy tells him that they are pestilent. The doctor asks if they have room for one more. They tell him that they always set a place for him. As Amy and Rory head in, the doctor leaks a few tears to his own surprise. He wipes his eye and smiles, noticing that he's got a bit of womany in him. Then joins his friends for Christmas dinner. And that, my friends, is the end of this story, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. I will name some cast members. The Doctor is played by Matt Smith. Amy Pond is played by Karen Gillan. Rory Williams is played by Arthur Darvill. Mars Arwell is played by Claire Skinner. Sarah Arwell is played by Maurice Cole. Lily Arwell is played by Holly Earl. Greg Arwell is played by Alexander Armstrong. The co-pilot is played by Sam Stockman. Droxel is played by Bill Bailey. Vanguard is played by Paul Baisley. Billis is played by Arabella Ware. The Wooden King is played by Spencer Wilding. And the Wooden Queen is played by Paul Casey. Some world building. The real world. The country house belongs to the Uncle Digby, and the family spends their Christmas there to escape the bombing in London. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the main characters are sent to the country home of Professor Diggory Kirk to escape the bombing of London and discover a portal to Narnia in the Wardrobe. There are books of Chronicles of Narnia and also are DVDs of this series. A miniaturized model of the house is placed in the children's bedroom. The doctor apologizes for it not being quite to scale. In Back to the Future, Dr. Emmett Brown constantly apologizes for the same thing. Back to the Future. Also time traveling. Planets. The doctor says that the planet is one of the safest planets he knows. And according to the doctor, Fairyland doesn't look anything like the planet they're on. Some world building influences. The Witch and the Wardrobe. That is Stephen Moffat said that Doctor Who and the Chronicles of Narnia come from the same impulse that children have of escaping to another world. Some story notes. Alexander Armstrong, Rick Arwell supplied the voice of Mr. Smith throughout the run of the Sarah Jane Adventures. Yes, uh, there are 5 series of the Sarah Jane Adventures. And what Alexander Armstrong also supplied is also in the Doctor Who story The Stone of Earth and Journey's End, double part story. Second thing is that Arabella Ware Billis previously played an alternative female version of the Third Doctor in the audio story Exile. Third thing is that Spencer Wilding, the Wooden King, previously played the Minotaur in TV story The God Complex. Um, that's also 11 Doctor story. Fourth thing is that this is the first Doctor Who story of the Matt Smith era where neither Karen Gillan nor Arthur Darvill's names appear in opening credits. Clara Skinner's name appears instead. It's the only episode during Gillan's tenure that this occurs. A fifth thing is that at the end of the episode, Amy Pond points a water pistol at the 11th Doctor when he shows up on her doorstep. Previously, she has twice aimed a gun at her daughter, River Song, in the TV story The Impossible Astronaut and A Good Man Goes to War, and at Silence, the TV story Venom of River Song. The 10th Doctor protected Donna Noble from the soothsayers. One of whom was played by Karen Gillan, by the way, with a water pistol. That is in the TV story The Fires on Pompeii. As the first half of Series 7 would not arrive until September 2012, there is no coming soon trailer at the end of this Christmas special. Another thing is that this was the last regular episode as opposed to minisode or online prequel to use the opening credits sequence introduced in 11th hour. The next full-length episode aired Asylum of the Daleks, introduced a substantially modified version of the sequence, with new cost type fonts, a new color scheme, and modifications of the series logo. Another thing is that Matt Smith's iconic hairstyle for the 11th Doctor had to be contained somewhat in order to fit in the helmet of a spacesuit he was wearing in his episode. A behind the scenes photo shows this resulting in a bizarre style of helmet hair. This episode was ranked as Doctor Who magazine readers' least favorite 11 Doctor story in their 60th anniversary polls of 2023, replacing The Rings of Akatan. That is Doctor Who magazine 593. Another thing is that Alexander Armstrong also played a World War II airman on Armstrong and Miller. Next thing is that Stephen Moffat wanted this to be the most Christmassy Christmas special ever. He stated that nothing is more fun to write than the Doctor at Christmas, as he considered it his kind of day. Everything's bright and shiny. Everybody's having a laugh, and nobody minds if you wear a really stupid hat. Another thing is that the scene in which the Doctor is showing the Orwells around the house originally included a scene in a haunted coal cellar. Another thing is that Vanguard and Billis are named after outgoing executive producers Piers Wenger and Bette Willis, both of whom served with Stephen Moffat. Another thing is that Amy Rory's role was reduced to a cameo, partially because Arthur Derville was appearing in a stage production of Dr. Faustus. Another thing is that the concept of the Wooden King and Wooden Queen was an image drawn from Stephen Moffat's childhood nightmares of a figure glimpsed standing by his bedroom door as he awoke in the dark. Another thing is that a late change saw Lucy Orwell renamed Lily because it was felt to be an homage to the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe too far. Another thing is that Farron Blackburn's wife, Verona Joseph, had previously played Penny Carter in Partners in Crime, while Claire Skinner's husband, Charles Palmer, had previously directed Smith and Jones, the Shakespeare Code, and Human Nature in the Family of Blood. Another thing is that Arabella Ware was a friend and former landlady of David Tennant. He was godfather to her two children. Another thing is that the house used for Amy and Rory's home was the same one from the God complex, not the one seen in the wedding of River Song. Another thing is that Miranda Hart was the original choice for Match Orwell. She was vetoed by the BBC as she had been cast in the Call the Midwife, and they wanted that to be her first dramatic role. Another thing is that the Farron Blackburn stated that he was daunted, thrilled, and excited at the same time about the job, and that it was tough. Another thing is that Farron Blackburn's favorite sequences to direct were the opening sequence and scenes set on the Winter Planet, where he really felt like he was making a movie. Another thing is that when asked about the tone he wished to create, Farron Blackburn replied, I would say there's a kind of mix. It goes through the several worlds. It's most definitely a classic action adventure, but I think it merges into the Edwardian children's story. There's a sort of Tim Burton-esque magic about it as well. I think there's a magic throughout the episode, but there's an underlying suspense, tension, and darkness to it as well. So I think it merges those three things with an awful lot of Christmas about it. Another thing is that filming was disrupted by a 24-hour protest at BBC Wales because of compulsory redundancies. Another thing is that the opening sequence set in the corridors of a spaceship was filmed at the Uskmouth power station. As the conditions were very noisy, the crew had to wear ear protectors. Another thing is that all of the scenes involving Rex aircraft were taped at the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre in East Kirby, for which the museum provided a real 1945 Lancaster bomber called Just Jane. Another thing is that Matt Smith has stated that it was really tough to shoot out in the forest at night, and because there were children involved, some shooting schedules had to change radically. We'd often have to shoot through no breaks. You get lunch at midnight or something. Alabama Ware was genuinely surprised and completely thrilled to be offered the part. The last story note is that Bill Bailey was pleased to be given a comedic human character, explaining the fact that I'm almost playing a human means the expressions are easier to do. If I was an oot with a face full of tentacles, that would have been harder to bring the funny. And last but not least, continuity. Because again, Doctor Who Universe, extended and expanded. The stories and episodes are to some extent related to each other, linked and referenced to each other, or for influence to each other. I have 8 points in the continuity, and it is the following. The Doctor has the Magna Carta, that there's a relation to the King's demons. Um, and that is the fifth Doctor story. Second thing is that the Harvest Rangers are from Androzani Major. That is TV story. The Case of Androzani, also a fifth Doctor story. The Doctor mentions a tree from the forest of theme, fancying him, referencing Jabe. That is related to the TV story, The End of the World. That's with the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. Uh, Fourth thing is that a sonic screwdriver doesn't work on wood. You see that, for example, in Silence in the Library um, with the 10th Doctor, uh, David Tennant. You see that in the Hungry Earth. That is with 11th Doctor. And we see that in the TV story Night Terrors. That is with also with the 11th Doctor Matt Smith. Another thing, fifth thing, is that the Sonic's respiratory bypass system briefly let him survive briefly in the vacuum of space. We see that in Forward to Doomsday, and that is yeah, a fifth Doctor story. I think yes, this fifth Doctor story. A sixth thing is that the Doctor describes crying when happy as being womany, and refers to the workbench he outfitted the children's bedroom with as sciencey wincy, which are both similar to his other terms, including wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, as the TV story Blink with 10th Doctor David Tennant, and Spacey Wasey in the TV story The Doctor's Wife. Um, that is also 11 Doctor story. The seventh thing is that Rex says, I'm sorry, my love, much as River's song said to the Doctor in the TV story The Pandora Opens and the Big Bang, double part story. And the eighth thing, last thing, is that the Doctor says he has been traveling in the TARDIS for 900 years. The TARDIS previously noted they had been traveling together for 700 years. There's a link to a TV story The Doctor's Wife. Had recently given his age as being about 200 years older than at that time. And there's a relation with the TV story Impossible Astronaut. So, that, my friends, is all I have to say about this story The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. So, we will now go to the commercials. So, again, Sci-Fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel from their fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. This channel has a random name, and random because we'll discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. Random because we'll broadcast on non-fixed times, actually on many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also, because we have no guests or different guests. It depends on want to join me in live stream or panel. If you want to join me in live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube. And we'll look what is possible. And you can invite me for your channel, for your live stream or panel. Feel free to invite me. The Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel Tag Doctor Who. So cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. This is your host, Enigmatic Joker. I'm looking to meet you. See ya. Bye bye.